In this tutorial, we are going to cover favoriting and unfavoriting from a list inside your app. We're also going to cover how to favorite on a detail screen and have that reflected on your list. Then we're going to walk through how to like items and have them appear on a filtered list showing all of your favorite places. And then we're going to use visibility rules to change the state of a button once something has been favorited or unfavorited inside your Adalo app. To kick off this tutorial, we are going to get started by setting up our database. Inside the Adalo editor, we're going to go over to the database and see that we have a users collections and favorite places collections. Now we need to make these two collections talk, and we can do that by adding a relationship. This is going to be a many-to-many relationship, saying that favorite places can have multiple users and a user can like multiple places. We're going to update the name so that it makes a little bit more sense inside of our database for both collections. And then let's take a look at our records here, and we can see that we now have a new row for our favorite places so that we can see the favorite places that are liked by our users. And in the favorite places, we can see the users who have favorited those places. Now that we've walked through setting up a database inside of Adalo, let's go to the first portion of our favorite button, and that is going to be adding a toggle in a custom list. Inside the Adalo editor, we are going to add a custom list to our screen. Now for the toggle button, it is very important that we use a custom list because that will allow us to add the toggle, and then we can go in and change and customize our list to how we would want our information to be displayed in our app. As well, we're going to be binding all of this information to our database before adding in our toggle and binding that to our favorite places within our database. We can add our favorite buttons to like and unlike, and then preview our app. We can go in and favorite items within our app and see that this is working correctly, and it's also working when we decide to unfavorite those items as well. Now that we've covered setting up a database, putting a toggle inside of a custom list, let's move to adding a toggle and a favorite button onto a detail screen. Back inside the Adalo editor, let's go over and add a new screen for favorite details. This is going to be the screen that we're going to add our toggle button to, and we can customize this screen however we like. We're going to drop in an image and then add some text so we know the name of our favorite place. And while we're customizing this, we're going to need to go over and add an action to link to the new screen. This is going to push our data over to the new screen so that it is available for us to use. Then we can continue setting up our screen and binding it to our database to pull in that available information. Next, we're going to grab our toggle and put this in our app bar, and we're going to bind it to show that it's displaying the favorited places by the logged in user. We need to update this secondary color so that it stands out from our app bar, and update the icons along with it as well. Next, we are going to hold down Shift and select our icon and our app bar and make it a group so that we can edit the style and fix it to the top of the screen so that as we're scrolling, our app bar and icon are staying fixed to the top. Let's go in and preview our favorite details screen, and let's like an item and then click on it, and we can see that we see the favorite button and we can unfavorite from this screen as well. Now we're going to move on to the fourth part of our tutorial, which is we are going to show the list of favorite items that we have in a new screen within our app. Going back to the Adalo editor, we're going to add a new screen for our favorites list that will contain all the favorited items by the logged in user. We can drag on a simple list to the canvas and bind it to our favorite places, and then customize this list so that it is showing all the information that we would like to see on our filtered list. Then we will add the filter to show the logged in users favorited by, and then we will need to add a tab component so that we can navigate around our screens while inside the previewer mode. Now, these will be set up to be linked to each screen based off of the tabs, and Adalo gives us 5 tabs, but we will only need just a few so that we can customize them for our app. Now that we've got those linked, we can simply copy and paste those onto our app screens. And then set up any remaining links that we need to. Let's go and preview our app. And we can see that we have favorited items, and the items will appear on our favorite list. The 5th and final part of our tutorial is going to be building a custom toggle with visibility rules together. Now, we are actually going to be using a button for this because we want to have some different rules for showing when something is favorited or not favorited within our app. Back into the editor, we are going to add a button onto our advanced favorite screen. We can duplicate this button so that we can have a favorite and favorited button and customize it however we'd like. I'm changing the colors on the buttons so that they are standing out and a little bit different from one another. Once we have that set up how we like it, we are going to go over from always visible to sometimes visible, and then connect it to our favorite places. And we're going to say this does not contain the logged in user for the favorite button. Now for the favorited button, we're going to go in and change the visibility to sometimes visible, and we're going to say the current place, the favorite places, all of those, it actually does contain the logged in user, so those are switched. Then we're going to go and add an action, and we are going to update the current favorite place on to add the logged in user, and then we're going to do the reverse for the favorited. We're going to go update the current favorite place, and this time we're going to remove the logged in user. Now that we have that set up, let's preview it. We can see we have some favorite places here and that this is favorited, and if we unfavorite it, we're going to go back to our list and see that it is removed from our favorites list. Now the reverse, if we favorite, go in, and we can see that it is favorited there as well. So in this tutorial, we covered setting up the database, putting a toggle in a custom list, doing a toggle on a detail screen, and then we set up how to show a list of favorite items, and then we used visibility rules to change the state of our button. Now you can get started favoriting within your Adalo app.